Hi everyone, it's Tori. I posted on Tuesday, I did a try it Tuesday to see whether something would work, and I made this little embellishment using some ultra thick embossing enamel, sorry for the glare, and some Hochanda pink Pearlywink inks to colour it. And I was really pleased with the outcome. As I said, it did go quite bubbly. I actually like the look of it. I am playing around with it still. I did also spray, where are we? I sprayed I think it was the Pearly Mist in there. Actually, to be honest, I threw quite a lot of stuff at it. So I've got a bit of pearly swirl in there. There was also some glitter in there, so I actually really like that, and I think it would probably make a really nice Christmas decoration. So I said I would do a quick how-to video. I have my melt pot over here, and I did say I would give you a quick alternative if you don't have one. I'm going to bring in my melt pot. Now, my melt pot, if anybody's got one and you haven't used it in ages, just to give you a quick look at it, over here is the thermostat, and for ultra thick embossing enamel you just whack it up to the highest point. Green light comes on just to let you know you have power on, and there is a red light that would come on over here whilst it's heating up, just like when you have your iron on. When it's reached its max temperature, the light goes off and we're ready to we're ready to melt, but that's because I've taken the lid off. That's okay, it's still going to be pretty hot. Right, I have my ultra thick embossing enamel, and be generous when you're putting it in because everything can be reused. It can all be melted back down again, so you're not going to waste anything. So here we go. We're just going to pour a good amount in. Finish that bit off. And I'm going to close it up. And we're going to let that melt away. And I'll give you a quick peek in a minute. But what I want to do is, whilst that's happening, I'll leave that just over there, I'll show you the alternative way of doing it. Now, you must forgive me, I don't have a small tray, so we're going to improvise with this, but it's very easy and it's very simple. I'm just going to open up another jar of my UTEE here and pop that there. Okay, so all we do, and all you're going to need, is tin foil. Now, if you don't have a tray, literally just make yourself a little bowl out of some tin foil. What I would suggest is try and smooth out the inside as much as possible, because obviously when you're going to melt it down to liquid, you don't want it getting too stuck in all the ridges, and if possible pinch it at the end to give yourself something to pour out. Other thing you're going to need will be heat-proof tweezers, something to grab it with. I have either these ones, which came with my melt pot. My favourite ones are these. They're those tweezers that you push to open them. So all I have to do is clip them onto there and it holds it for me. Okay. Most importantly, obviously, is this. You need, whichever method you're using, you need a heat-proof Teflon, one of these Teflon mats surfaces. You're going to be pouring your extremely hot embossing powder onto your table. It needs to be heat-proof, and you also need for it to be able to come off easily. You don't want it to stick to anything. So these craft mats are great. Right, so the alternative version is, let me come into shot here. I'm going to put my tweezers on and I'm going to hold it so I don't burn my fingers. you're going to take your UTEE, going to tip some in there. I'm not going to use too much because obviously I've got mine going in the melt pot. Then we're going to take our heat gun. So I've got my tweezers and my embossing powder. And all you're going to do is, from below initially, heat the powder. And I'm ever so sorry, I've got something really bad. There we go. So this is just very slow, and it is going to take a while. Be patient, but eventually you will start to see. And the clear embossing powder, I know it looks creamy in the dish, it will go clear. Then if you can see around the edges there, can you see it's starting to shine a bit more? Here we go, it's starting to go. Now please, disclaimer, I know you're all smart, but we've got kids, we've got animals. Please just keep them out of reach of this. If you're in a room, close the door, keep little fingers away. You don't want any accidents. And this is molten plastic. I mean, it's hot stuff. I mean, it's great fun for us for crafting, but we really don't want to end up any accidents. So as you can see, that's starting to melt down now. You can go in there, but I'm blowing around a bit, but I'll take it from under here, just so you can see it going. Still going. It's going to take a while. I think you generally get the gist of what's going to happen though. We're just melting it down. Now, just so you know, that clear embossing powder, or the ultra thick embosser certainly, has a tendency to go slightly amber, is that the word? Or the colour? It does. It gives it sort of an aged look. It kind of like when you melt sugar. That kind of colour, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the longer you heat it, the darker it will get. But we're going to colour it, so it's not going to make too much difference. I'm not going to do that whole thing because we'll be here forever. But you basically get the gist. You're going to melt that powder down, and just the same as we're going to do with the UTEE, all you do is you would tip it out onto your mat. But we'll have a look at that in a little bit. We'll go and have a look and see how our melt pot is doing. Pop that over there. Right, let me bring this in. Okay, there's our melt pot. And let's see where we are. Oh, perfect. Okay, we're all melted and we're ready to start adding some colour to it. Okay, so as I said, I'm just going to add some of my Hochanda pink. So I forgot actually, and it is in my description, I just forgot to mention it. I have a pipette. Okay, I have my Hochanda, and all I'm going to do is take some out of the bottle and put a few drops in here and keep adding it until I've got the colour that I like. I love my Pearlywink inks, and you know, the fact that I can use them in this, it's great fun. Right, here we go. You're going to hear possibly a sizzle, might not, might get away with it. So I'm just going to put just a few drops in. Remember, this is going to make our embossing. Yeah, it's going to sizzle. It is going to sizzle because it's water content, but that's okay, and that's what gives us the bubbles. There is a way of getting rid of as many bubbles as possible. You can run your heat gun over it, but very honestly, I don't think you're going to get rid of all of them. It's just because of the product we're putting in. So we're just going to keep giving it a stir. Oh, that's lovely. Okay. And then we're going to get our pipette again, take a little bit more. There we go, lovely stuff. Give it a stir. So don't worry about all the popping and the sizzling. That's a bit of colour now. There we go. I'd say all in all, I think I did about five or six drops every time I went in. But we're talking it's such a small amount that actually comes out of your pot. You won't notice it. Right. So I'm going to put the lid back on for a second whilst we get our table sorted. What are we going to do next? Well, I used it's over there, metal cookie cutter to cut that. Okay, so what we're going to do, and make sure that you have the blade of your cutters the right way round, like so. We're going to pour our mixture, whether it's from our tray that you heated or from your melt pot, onto the table, and then we're going to put our cookie cutter over it. Now please be careful, whichever way you're going to do this, and I'm going to say be careful, and you watch, I will probably still end up burning myself. Be careful how you tip it. Here we go. Lovely. All out. Try and get it all in one place. I'm doing a great job of that today. There you go. Right. We have it out. Pop that down and take your cookie cutter and pop it straight on and give it a good wiggle down. Good wiggle down. Okay. Now, hi, we're back. Okay, here we are. We're going to check first, use a heat-proof tool, and all of this just peels off. And you can actually just throw that back into your melt pot. So anyway, let's have a look here. A tap, tap, looks good to me. So we're going to come in and give it a wiggle underneath and a wiggle underneath. It's still warm, but I'm not going to burn myself. I'm going to pull it up. Oh, there we go. And hopefully I gave it a big enough wiggle so that, here we go. All of that there isn't a waste. What can you do with it? Well, whilst it's warm, let me give it a push down and flatten it. You could do lots of things with that. First and foremost, you can put it straight back in your melt pot and melt it back down. Or you can take a pair of scissors to it, cut round that. You could have a frame. I mean, I think that's absolutely gorgeous to go inside a journal. And let me bring this up to you, see if you can see that. I think that's lovely. I like the speckles in it. Believe it or not, you'd actually have a hard time trying to get a regular embossing powder to actually do that. I like it. I think it's incredibly unique. I mean, that's why I got so excited about when I found out this worked. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's put that aside and let's come over here and have a look at our thing. Here we go. Push it out and voila. We have a lovely lovely heart. And there are just so many things you can do. I mean, different colours, different shapes, different cookie cutters. You've got moulds you can pour it into. As long as they're silicone, as long as they can take the heat, use them. If you're going to use silicone moulds you've taken from your kitchen, please, please, please don't go using food afterwards in them. You'll have to go out and get yourself a new set of silicone moulds, but they work, and I have a cupboard full of them to prove it. Now that I know that the Pearlywinks work and we can get all different, as you can see, because I put in that one, I put in some of the pearly mist and some of the glitter. You've got a slightly more opaque colour, but I have to say I really am excited about this. I hope you enjoyed it. Please forgive me if I waffled too long. I'm very new to the whole video thing, so bear with me. There will be more, and I will also be doing some of my encaustic how-to videos, because I've had a few people ask me, can I post them as well? So thank you for watching.